Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to a high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today I'm bringing you Clem in the bottom left as our red Terran player versus in the top left here on Amphion, spawning in the blue colors. It's of course going to be dark here, recognizable from his own face spinning around his main building. Clem recently has made the move over to Korea. I'm not sure how long he's staying in Korea. I know he's going there to practice for the EWC, the Esports World Championship. He specifically needs to work a lot on his TVT, which is his lacking matchup. He's currently, I think, top 3 or maybe even top 2 in both the versus Protoss and versus Zerg matchup. But in the TVT matchup, I don't even think he's top 5, to be honest. So it's definitely a lacking one. We often see him struggle with Korean Terrans. And as a result, he decided, you know what? I'm going to be going to Korea just for a tiny test. So see if I can improve that before the biggest tournament of the year. And yeah, it's been great watching him fight, square off against all of these Korean players in the weekly cups, in basically anything. And now here, this is a replay from the Korean StarCraft League. So also a Korean native tournament. At least the tournament is run on the Korean server, or the Asian server, I believe it's called. Of course, I believe there's some other server locations as well on the Asian server. I think you have Taiwan as a server location. And I actually think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. But either way, maybe Singapore. I reckon that would count as Asia and not as America, but I'm never sure with how Blizzard defines stuff. Either way, we have Clem opening up with his golden standard, really. The SCV scout here comes out. It's going to potentially block a third base. See if he's going to be quick enough with that. I think he might just be. I think he will be capable of spotting this in time and moving over. Targ really wanted to get it, but is not going to get it. The Reaper arrives at the same time. As if he's going to be fighting this drone, so we have one battle over here. Ooh, Clem decided to pull it away. He's going to probably lose the SCV. No, SCV stays alive, and the drone does manage to get to the extractor in time. We still have this SCV moving in this area. Clem is not willing to give this up, so another extractor gets built. This is a cute dance that both of them are doing here. Much better than watching two people do the waltz, or the foxtrot, or another dance, which... oh, the tango. You also need 2 for tango, of course. Yeah, this is a dance that I much prefer watching. The Reaper drone dance. Doesn't quite have an official name yet. Either way, we have the swap here. Starport comes down. Second gas was really fast. A little bit before the starport. And the 2 cars start as well here. This is a significant delay on that third base here. So, phenomenal stuff coming out of Clem. Ooh. Oh, wait, I thought this was a triple CC, but it was not. It was just a regular double CC. That explains the fast second gas, of course. For whatever reason, whenever I see Clem, I'm automatically assuming there's going to be a third command center. Because for so long, that was his bread and butter. But he knows how to switch it up for sure. I'm feeling a... wow, I was going to say I'm feeling a Cloak Banshee, but that's not the case here. We're just straight up going into a Liberator. So perhaps 6 Hellion into Liberator. Tries to make a move here with the 2 Hellion plus Reaper. But Dark is in position with Lynx, with Queens, and is not going to allow anything to run by here. Next depot is on the way on the low ground already. So we had 1 depot actually in the main base. It's rare to see as well. Clem went for it anyway. Stim coming out. I wonder what the follow-up is going to be. How many Hellions are we building? So far it's just 4. I think the standard number is 6, and then we'll see the CC go down in the wall. That's indeed what we're seeing here. So Clem is sticking with the rules. Playing it by the rules. He's a pretty by-the-book guy anyway, so I'm not super surprised by it. Look at this, though. It's actually splitting off individual Hellions. It's something we don't see very often, because it's not so good. It's going to lose a car as a result of that. The Liberator moves into the main base. Don't forget, this map has a lot of dead space. Not so much here, but in between these bases, you can practically attack 3 bases from 1 dead space area, which is not just uncommon, it doesn't exist on any other map that I can recall, where 1 dead space connects all 3 bases, and there's nothing you can do about it. Which means that Phoenix builds are very often what we see in Protoss versus Terran here, and in Terran versus Zerg, we see Zerg just kind of struggle, to be honest. Double E-base as a follow-up. This is standard. This is absolutely standard as 2 workers have gone down. Ooh, Clem tried to make a play. Will be forced to pulling back here. Don't think this hatchery can get taken out. 5 queens moving into position to deal with the threat of the Hellions. 2 more gases coming down as well for Clement as the first tank has started. Stim finishing up. We're gonna see combat shield starting relatively soon. I'm not sure if we get combat shield before the 1-1. Ooh, that's a really fast armory here, isn't it? Okay, yeah, he cancelled it. He can't really afford that, to be honest. It's a lot of money. Can be invested into combat shields instead. That's what we're seeing here. The Lyothi standing around. Not a care in the world. Because he knows he's friendly with both. It's right there in the middle. The perfect centrist. Hellions now moving to the right side. And this is one of the things with Clem, is that he likes to remain pretty active with these cars. Far out into the game. We're 6 minutes in. And they're still fighting for that map control. I believe that Clem has honestly lost that battle. Doesn't really feel like he has a lot of map control available to him right now. There's a bunch of creep tumors out. Do we have any spores? We have 1 spore in the main. We have a macro hatch coming down. We have a fort base that is finished. And 76 workers. 6 minutes and 35 seconds into the game. That is really fast for such a high drone count. That is really fast for such a high drone count. Yes, the layer is a little delayed. The upgrades have phenomenal timing. We're going to have a brilliant amount of larvae here as well. So this Liberator siege is up. It's now going to get pushed back by the double queens. Clem decides to move out on the map. 2 tanks. A crap ton of marines. This is what, 19 marines or so? 12, 16, 20 marines actually. It's going to find a position here behind these mineral patches. Combat shield finishing up. 1-1, not done quite yet, but it's on the way. Centrifugal hooks a little bit away from finishing here. We're going to keep 4 marines with the tanks. We could get a Liberator in this position. Don't forget the Hellions are around as well. And if they morph into some Hellbats, this position is going to be very secure. This is such a rough spot here for Dark to fight from. He's using all of the queens, and he's using them well. 1-1, not quite finished yet, as the Medivacs try to stay in the back. Good pickup. 1 Medivac does get targeted down. As a new one shows up, I would love if Clem actually mined out one of these mineral patches, so you have a path back here with those marines, and you don't need to give up a medevac to pick them up. I think that would be even better. That would improve this attack. That would improve this position quite a bit. We're hitting the right side here as more and more workers are going down. Dark decides, you know what, if you want to attack me here with kind of a slow push, I'm going to attack you with a fast ling attack. We have 1-1 upgrade. Yes, there is a tank on the high ground, but most likely you're going to be losing your fort. No cancel there, by the way. And also you're going to be losing a lot of SCVs if you ain't careful. At the same time, however, we see Clem is actually taking a little bit. He's taking a pretty significant supply lead here. So there's a lot of forces in the back. This fort base is going to get denied. 12 SCVs falling on the side of Clem. 68 workers to 57. Lots of cash in the bank for Dark as well. Clem hasn't given up yet on this position. Wants to clear 1 more Overlord perhaps. Not quite going to get it. Maybe now? No. Queen plus Hydra Bane coming in. 1 more try. No. Clem doesn't get it, but Clem is in a lead. The only thing he's lacking currently is actually the start on the 2-2, which is a very big deal. He must have lost his armory in this attack, or he must have completely forgotten the armory. And we haven't seen a fort base yet, after that first one got killed, not cancelled. The lack of a 2-2 is what worries me most here, though, because there's going to be a serious amount of time in this game in which Clem is going to be down in upgrades. Right now it's still even. We already have a Ling Bane attack that is being set up. So Clem takes out a second base here. Still a fort base mining, but the drone count isn't that brilliant. Infestation pit fairly late. We're not going to have instant 3-3 coming out of Dark. And Dark's really his only lead in this game is that upgrade lead. So that is definitely going to suck for him. Muscular augments, the Hydra speed is about to finish as well. We'll have to wait and see what Dark's plans are going to be. Most likely Lurker. He's a Lurker-based guy. He likes spikes. Just loves them. What the hell is this position? I was gonna say this. If this position actually hits anything, it's just broken. Like, that should not be possible, but this position doesn't hit it. Just barely doesn't. Look at the white line. It's close, though. It's really close. Clem now is pivoting towards the left side of the map. 2-2 upgrades, though, here for Dark. And unsieged as well. I am not feeling this fight here for our French Terran player whatsoever. The Terran player, however, is feeling it for himself. And He's going to push it back at least a little bit. Baneling count has diminished. A couple of tanks did end up going down, and now on creep this feels risky, but at the same time, no baneling count also feels risky here for Dark. Dark will need to make a stand with these Hydras. There's no flank coming in. Banelings now are finishing up. Usually the target fire is good. Clem perhaps pushing just a little bit too far. Is going to be forced to lift up those Marines and ends up losing every single tank. Hydras punch hard. Good lord, do they? The Hydra punches real hard. Fort base now finally flies over, but the supplies are closer than ever. Helmet's coming in, and Helmet's going out, moving towards the light. They die. Medevac count is very high. Marine count not quite as high. These mines don't have the drilling claws yet. Don't remain invisible. There's no overseers remaining here anymore, so if they would have remained invisible, that could have been nice. Force out a couple of overseers. Double drop heading towards the left side. Clem throwing away his lead bit by bit. Do we have Hive yet? No, we don't. That is a mistake here, Dark. Now starts it. That means that the upgrade lead that he had once upon a time is now fully disappeared. The drilling claws are starting to hit the left side of the map. Oh, that's too many units back in the medevac, boys. Or let's not. The fact that there's no serious anti-air in the form of parasitic bombs does mean that drops can be very powerful. A good tool to tie up a lot of supply. We have a bunch of Marines here on the right side as well. And with 2-2 upgrades against 0-2 Hydra, maybe he can achieve something, but no. Good snipe there. Of course, you can't achieve anything. This is Dark we're talking about. A 4 mine drop now heading towards a base with 5 workers. Is he gonna get them all? Oh, no, he won't, because he only drops a single mine. Gets 4 links. Quick response there out of Dark. Instantly starts a spore. This is probably the worst spore position in the world. It legitimately blocks 2 mineral patches. I didn't even know that was possible. Wait, what? You can mine from this? What the hell? Yeah, this guy's just inside of the spore. Getting real cozy by that. Hate to see it. Still a bunch of Marines here behind that mineral line. Clem now is getting a 5th base. It's really late in the game. His eco has been balls for the entirety of this game, to be honest. Dark has had balls eco for a while now as well. So both of them in not the greatest economical location. Upgrade wise, they're kind of even. I wonder who I actually favor in this position. I feel like if there's no bank for the Zerg in this phase of the game, I actually favor the Terran a little bit. In my mind, I favor the Terran there a little bit. Rocks now being blasted. It's planetary plus tank setup. We don't have a tank here on the high ground. Lots of marauders coming out. Oh, surely this is going to be a counterattack now. So many units out on the map. 13 links. They don't have Adrenal yet. Without Adrenal, I don't want to fight with high link counts. And neither does Dark. Because Dark has a pretty giant brain. He knows what's good and he knows what's bad. These mines are not really connecting with a whole lot of links. These links are connecting with a whole lot of mines. That's the way you want it as a Zerg player here. 13 minutes and 33 seconds into the game. And despite a back and forth motion of who wants to have this game, we're actually in a kind of even spot. We really are. Tank production has started. Ghost production has started. And we've had a rich early game. We've had an even richer mid game. And now we're slowly but surely kind of crawling. Really with baby steps. Or baby crawls into the late. And Clem is one of these players that is generally not much of a camper. So where other Terran players, they tend to heavily rely on things like tank, Ghost. We very often still see Clem be at least somewhat active. Yes, with Ghost in the mix. Yes, with tanks in the mix. But a heavier focus on mines, a heavier focus on Liberators, and often a bit further out on the map as well, rather than just sitting at home and not doing a whole lot. So I'm actually kind of excited to watch him execute that. He's one of the Terrans that can make late game work while being aggressive, while continuously denying creep, and kind of still playing with those non-mineral resources as well, you know? Things like map control, things like map vision, creep spread. These are all very important still for Clem, and sometimes Terran players just kind of give up on that project altogether. They feel like their mid-game wasn't good enough. So far that hasn't been the case for Clem. Clem is, Nidus network, as well as a Lurker transition coming in. Do we have any Vipers at all? No, we don't. That is pretty shocking to me. As Clem has set up defensively right now. Have a big drop. A Lurker drop maybe? You know, it's not that bad of a plan, is it? You get like a Lurker drop and then a Nidus network next to it. That's actually kind of cool. Look at this. This is the biggest Lurker drop I think I've seen in my life. It's going to be a 10 Lurker drop. Where are we heading? 11 Lurker drop. It's heading into the main base. And at the same time, ideally, I reckon we want to attack over here or pretend to attack. How is Clem going to respond? Look at that. He pulls a couple of workers away. Now we see the overlords moving in towards that base. We have... Oh, that's some snipers out there. They are potentially going to be sniping these lurkers. But no, they're not in time. Lurkers do get to burrow and perhaps get to leave as well. We have more flying in. Beautiful maneuver out of dark. At the same time takes out this base on the right side. Taking, honestly, not that many losses. I really thought those losses would be much, much bigger. We could still have a rotation as well. Majority of the ghosts are in the main base. Maybe a rotation with the lurkers towards the right side could be a big deal. I'd love for these mineral patches to be taken out, by the way. They would help him so, so much. Maybe we can send these units into the Nidus and reinforce this spot. That would have been a crazy good move, I think. Imagine this army randomly coming out of the Nidus with the support of 4, 5 lurkers that are still there. A couple of banelings actually can make a difference if you don't expect them whatsoever. I mean, there's no medevac here. Gonna have another drop heading in towards the main. As a Nidus now moves over the mineral patch. Beautiful maneuver. It's going to clear this tank. We have a drop heading towards it. At the same time, here come the links. We'll be going into the main. Do we have burrow? Yes, we do. This is such a beautiful late game. Dark basically extending the mid game life because that's where he shines. And honestly, that's where Clem shines too. So these are two players in the prime phase, basically. And Dark so far making a real show out of it. Clem pushed into the defensive, and that's not where he likes to be. Ghosts do manage to hit the right side over here. Nidus network or Nidus canal should go down. Sorry, Nidus worm should go down in the main base. Lynx have found their way into this little area. Are going to just try and clear these orbital commands up. More Lynx now moving into the same overlords. We just continue just kind of ferrying these units over mineral patches into new location. This Nidus worm is going to get cleared. At the same time, we have another attack here in the third base. We're going to have another attack in the natural as well. This army could be in some trouble. There's a lot of tanks here. Dark is not focusing on those, and that might have just been a mistake. He's lost a lot of supply. 8 new overlords coming out, and although this looked to be a move with a lot of potential, I'm now actually starting to become a little bit afraid. We still have some links that can unburrow and cause some chaos. Once more, we have these drops just ferrying units into the main base and into the natural base. A lot of production has actually gone down. We're only at 5 racks left. Single starport. Usually that would be 8 racks and hopefully 2 starports. This Nidus worm is actually empty, but if there were some lurkers in there, that could have been quite bad. There's 2 more lurkers plus 8 links heading into the main base. Could try and jump onto this tank setup. We still have a Nidus worm on the right. Let's see what Dark's plan actually is going to be. He's getting some Vipers, he's getting some Infestors, some random Infestors as well. Nidus worm gets thrown down. Where is that Nidus network? It's over here. It just remains empty. So, although I love the Nidus worms and they often go up, they're not actually dealing any damage. They're not really doing a whole lot. So we have a Baneling morph here. This is you never see this stuff. You really never see this type. It's like, well, he's gonna drop the Banes over the wall, or what's the play here? Ooh, Nidus is not quite going to be in Clem's peripheral vision here. I mean, he sees it, but he doesn't see it. I guess tank plus mine should be capable of dealing with that. There's a lot of links in there, by the way. Oh, that could be scary. Oh, that could be scary. Let's see if Clem is paying attention right now. I don't think he is. He is not noticing it quite yet. Instead, he's probably trying to pay attention to this fight. And at the same time, these links have now unloaded. Could start going in. Mine doesn't connect. At the same time, main base has opened up. We can get some burrows in here. Get another Nidus worm as well. It's the main army, if you could even call it that, is still trying to make plays. And I think these mineral patches are actually ruining a rotation that Dark could have had in clearing out this planetary, attacking these orbitals, and that now we're not really getting. This is probably 2 more scans. 1 over here, 1 over here. Or Clem is going to say, hey, I don't need to scan anymore. Dark is going to unburrow. It's gonna get caught. Still has some links in here. See turrets on the bottom side. Yeah, it's nice. Clem is playing it solid. At the same time though, this base is going to end up dying. This base also seems to be in a little bit of trouble. 2 parasitic bombs, good splits. This Liberator parasitic bombing is also hitting the other one. Banelings now moving in forward. Ideally would be going towards the planetary, not towards a base that can just be lifted. That feels like a mistake. He's gonna get it though. Clem not with a quick enough lift. Orbital command count right now is only at 6, so that's actually not that low. That is very reasonable. Clem struggling to take this right side base. Would love to see a single burrowed unit here at the same time. Oh, would love to see these units being hidden. Clem probably wants to take out this little force at some point. He's gonna go for it. There's some neat tank positions as well, which is actually kind of important. Parasitic bombs have done a lot of work on this medevac squad. This has been an absolutely insane game. Brilliant to watch, with really constant drops heading into the main base. Such an active map here that both of these players are making it. You have a couple of Marines Marauders in the main base. Do we still have units in the Nidus network? No, we don't. What actually is our unit count? We have no Lurkers, 112 links, and here comes the mass drop. Let's see, how active are we here, Clem? Trying to send back a Liberator. It could potentially help out. At the same time, we have an attacker to the bottom right side, which, let's not forget, is just an orbital command. 12 workers going down. Dark potentially looking to deal a fatal blow here. Is going to burrow links in 2 locations. Waiting to unburrow with those. Still have a tank on the high ground, which is helping out. Ling run by coming in. Factory count is at 4. 2 of those are in potentially vulnerable spots. This gets scanned. There's a couple more links over here. I'm not sure if Clem is seeing them though. It's not quite hitting that scan far enough. Good lord, we've had near constant action. It's Banelings now being burrowed near this base. Not sure what to think of that. This Dark is just continuing out-rotating, out-moving his opponent. This has really been a story of movement more than anything else. And Dark's movement has been smooth. Like the dancer that he is. The next wave of SCVs that shows up here is actually going to be in a bit of trouble. We only have, what, 2-3 barracks left? 4 barracks. 2 of them have been rebuilt somewhere else. These are the only 2 remaining from the main base. The main base has been such a weak spot. See, a couple of these Banes on burrow are going to catch a... going to catch all of these mules as well. That is an expensive loss, because Dark has plenty of cash, but Clem definitely doesn't. Starport is going to get cleared here as well. And with another attack here at the front, I think Dark is... He's actually doing it. He's bleeding out his opponent. 46k resources lost against 32k. But he constantly trades. He's trading, he's trading, he's trading. There's no ability anymore to rebuild medevacs. So it's going to be important to keep them alive. Army supply is still great here for Clem. But he needs to get this base to mine at least a little bit. At least a little bit. Clem's not really paying attention here to the Nidus network. I'd love to see a split up with like 3-4 Ghost and then a bunch of Marines heading down the right side of the map. Just kind of figuring that out, while the majority of his army is over here trying to defend the middle. That would be great, as this fight for Dark so far, resources loss-wise, not brilliant, but he takes out another base. At the same time, Clem also taking out a base on the right. Have this base on the left also being mined. These 2 are neutral bases. If Dark gets to just mine a complete one, Clem could be in some trouble. As Dark is going to push this army back. Ghost will get snipes, I think. Yes, lots of these Hydras are falling. Army supplies are actually looking pretty good for Clem. Of course, it's still a bank for Dark as 10 more SCVs go down. I'm not sure how this is happening, but we have action in 5 places at the same time. Good medevac micro here. Tries to target down that Queen. Queen tries to target down the medevac. Both players are really controlling units everywhere. Whenever there's a red dot on the minimap, both of these guys are looking at it, and I'm not sure how they're doing it. You have the mules now dropping in this location. Dark has lost a bit of his bank. Only has 4 larvae remaining, but is building 12 lurkers. Gas is practically non-existent at this point, but that's probably fine for Dark, because Dark has been working with very high ling counts. If anything, the ling is his main tool. He's lost 926 in his 24-minute game. That's a lot of lings to lose. There's also a lot of damage he dealt with those. Army supplies are practically even. You have a Nidus worm going up in the main base. Yeah, this feels like the time for the lurkers to shine, really. At the same time, the tank count is growing. The ghost count is 8. It's not great, but 12 tanks is a big deal. Having 2 liberators actually helps a lot as well. And as long as Clem can deny these side bases, which So far, he hasn't been capable of doing at all. It would be big. Oh my god. Would you look at that? Lots of lurkers just going down. Without really any defense whatsoever. I think 4 just fell instantly. Now, however, this base is in some trouble. And we have another attack here coming in. This is not a planetary anymore. These tanks are going to get taken out. Liberator stays alive. Clem is struggling with the minerals. Dark is struggling with the gas. I mean, if these lurkers die... Clem actually has a really nice army. And Dark doesn't. I'm not saying that Clem is winning, because I don't think Clem is winning. But he's making one hell of a game out of it. Like, his income is just so freaking low. He just needs minerals. He needs these 2 bases to mine for just a little bit. He has 20 workers on this 1 gas, which is most definitely a mistake. 100%. We have a fight over here. Yeah, GG's just gonna get called. Clem ends up losing this game after 26 minutes and 9 seconds. Resources lost. What was that? 63k to 45k and more than 1,000 links going down. Only 6 dropper lords ended up dying. So it's just those same dropper lords. Only 11 in the entire game have been built. That's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy because we had so many drops here. Sick play. I don't think I've ever seen a 10 lurker drop. That's one hell of a surprise there. Dark with the win. Beautifully played. Really using the map to his advantage. And that's going to be it for me today. I hope you all did enjoy this game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new one. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.